Hi, it's Jo, and today I'm going to be watching The Gifted Season 2, Episode 3, Complications. This is my absolute favourite show that's airing at the moment. I look forward to it so much each week, and there's just so much building up. The last episode ended with a cliffhanger about baby Dawn not doing very well, so I see no reason to wait. Let's go.
So close.
I saw that was such a huge war. It was so sweet, but everyone can see that, including Jay Turner, probably. I like that we're getting flashbacks into sort of where the characters originated. Because Marcus's past has been mentioned a little bit. This is really interesting. We're going to actually get to see some of it.
Papa, what do you want? They told
His
me you came here to die.
Because family is so important to Marcus, and I think doing better for his daughter
might be able to fool his sister
than his father did
but we both know where you're heading.
is so important to him. And that's what's really driving him, that family is his ultimate thing that he holds dearest to him is Lorna, but also his baby, and it's so hard that he's been kept away from that baby.
The child needs her father.
I really wish they could form some kind of a world where Marcus and Lorna could both be in their baby's life, but I don't see it at the moment.
But your little light show last night, all over the news. What the hell were you thinking?
Yep.
Next time you drunk dial your ex.
Sleep.
I love that Chris notices. And
so they're just your
be honest with her.
It's fine. They're gonna heal.
It's not fine. Talk to your girlfriend.
Before you smile that perfect smile and tell me everything is fine, I'm pretty sure the whole point of having a girlfriend is telling me this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong.
John. It's a past time he told everyone, or someone, what's happening to him as well. Would it work on people? Like if he touched a person, would they disintegrate too?
Do you have a moment?
You gonna apologise?
Sure.
I went too far.
She did.
So did I.
I know where she's coming from, but
She's obviously got a lot on her mind.
Can you talk to her, please?
You could tell Caitlin what she said.
This is important.
I'm glad that Caitlin is taking note of both of her children. Because her desperate quest to find Andy doesn't mean that Lauren doesn't matter. I don't see this ending with Marcus getting to stay with Dawn, but at the very least I hope he gets to give the rattle. I don't think my heart's ready for this episode. When you know who that is, I can't imagine the pain of not being able to be with your child. I think that's what's driving him even more than missing Lorna and wishing he could get through to her. But he had all those dreams that they both had of their family. Not going to be in there right now.
It's been a while.
He would also do anything for his baby.
Well, that's not very nice.
I'll stay out of my head then.
Quite a storm brewer. Redeem yourself as a daddy, and do as you're told.
He didn't do anything wrong. He just disagreed with Lorna about how to act. So as a dad, he's not done anything wrong.
But what happens when you care about someone? When you fought?
Manipulating.
I can count on you?
Using Andy. If Andy was a few years old, if Andy was an adult, I'd feel less weird about the way that she comes to him for things like this. And the fact that she always calls him Andrew, that's a typical thing an adult would do to a child to make them feel, oh, we're equals, you're treating me like an adult, but Andy is only a kid.
You're not really gonna touch the... Okay, that's gross.
If it's a place where mutants go, there'll be protections. He's pursuing what Marcus put in the sky.
I shouldn't have said what I said.
No. I wanted to know what was wrong. I'm glad you told me.
Now you're upset.
No, I am not upset.
I love Lauren so much.
I can't even find the file cabinet. Did we move it?
Yeah.
I didn't read the flashback, I didn't remember him doing that.
It's broken.
Is he going to finally tell Lauren what's up? Because Lauren would understand and be able to help him. Also, maybe pull over. You are driving with your daughter in the car. I know she can make shields, but don't disintegrate them.
Dad, what's going on?
Someone knows.
Dad, your hands! Dad! Oh my God!
Lauren, you could have put I guess you prevented a crash into the shield, wouldn't they? Would have been the same difference.
Everyone sees us.
Yep. The DNA's on the car. If they take the DNA, will they find them to be the strippers? Oh gosh.
Dad, that way.
See, Reed, this is why you talk to people about what's wrong. And it doesn't happen like this.
I should have pulled over sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Just caught me by some...
She's definitely more upset that he hid it. Obviously she's not upset he's a mutant.
You're coming with us.
I mean, they did want to come with you. They were trying to find you, so I really don't like Reva. This is just, because they still have the love, but they're on polar opposite opinions at the moment. And it's also heartbreaking because...
I'm fine.
You know that we've been... Jesse, give her to me.
Oh.
Hey, kiddo. Oh, she's so beautiful.
He deserves to be in his baby's life. To have his baby in his life. Just as much as Lorna deserves the baby.
2 of our friends were taken by a group called the Inner Circle.
They
We didn't know what
joined,
they're
they
doing.
weren't taken.
We heard you might.
There's gonna be fingerprints of Reed's and Lauren, there's gonna be blood of Reed's. Not quite the father-daughter bonding he hoped they'd be doing.
You're in no shape to drive.
Oh, he's gonna see them. I mean, he can't know for sure that was Lauren that he saw, but he'll definitely be even more firm in his crazy vendetta.
You were terrified.
I was.
Or the reaction of everyone else to the mutants.
Now what you think?
Because she was already a mutant by then. When she knew she
I
was.
broke those windows. With my powers.
Why didn't you tell me?
I was going to. You gave me a big hug. I got in the car. You told me not to worry. Because your job was prosecuting mutants. You told me you'd protect me.
I'm so glad they haven't forgotten
From them.
this. The fact that Lauren was a mutant for years before telling anyone, hearing her dad talk about his work. I can't contain how much Lauren, I love her as a character.
With Andy.
None of it's your fault. None of it.
Lo que pase, siempre estaré contigo.
We can take it from here.
It's so
I said
cool.
we can take it from here.
They have no right to take her away from her.
Whatever it is you guys are doing, I'll do it with you.
We both know that wouldn't work. You wouldn't fit in.
Real men don't abandon their...
You didn't abandon your baby at all.
Marcos,
Lorna took it from you.
you're not your father.
Please.
He should be allowed a minute to say goodbye to his child. I know they're worried he'll somehow convince Lorna to come back, but
Lights out.
I hate the Inner Circle so much. I can understand why they're acting the way they're acting, but... Oh, Marcos.
Don't let them do this to our family!
Marcos, don't do this.
Oh my god, I'm very scared for Marcos right now.
Get back!
Oh my god. Oh my god. Andy, do something that isn't killing him. Andy, do something that isn't killing him so that he'll go away. Oh my god. You're helping steal his baby from him. Oh, it's the one thing that I can't take about Lorna leaving and going to the Inner Circle. It's the baby situation. It's so unfair. And it would equally be unfair if Marcos were to take Dawn with him and Lorna didn't see the baby. Like, it's just messed up. You know, the only reason those mutants ever hurt anybody was because you put them in that position where it was hurt people or get hurt yourself. He's probably a purifier in his day job. Like, his after work time. Did he want her to spy on, like, John
What happened?
and our people, or just in general?
You just,
You have to tell her.
Maurice, this is my fault.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry I didn't.
I'm so glad he told her.
I don't want to rest. I want to hit him back.
I mean, I don't blame him. I hope they take a measured approach to any actions they choose to take, but I don't blame him. Please tell her. Because if he tells her, then he's listened to Lauren, taken her words to heart.
Have come to me.
I know.
Sorry.
hug him. I'm so glad he told her.
Marcos is stubborn, you know. He's not gonna give up.
Yes, I can see that. How'd he get free?
We can put thoughts in people's minds, but it's hard to overcome a feeling that strong. Our lives might have been easier if you just finished him off.
And that's why you're not in charge. You must remember that our plans are bigger than him. They're bigger than any of us. We are creating something special.
God. That episode was a lot. Just, oh. The minute they said that the baby was going to need Marcos, and just his flashback to his family. I mean, the flashback helped put everything into perspective for Marcos. We kind of already had the pieces, but it kind of really drilled it home. I know he told Caitlin in season 1 that his family kicked him out when they found out he was a mutant, and I think he was saying that, okay, yeah, what she did before, when she kind of didn't say anything, didn't look into what it was like for mutants, didn't act on anything or care too much about their plight, that wasn't good. But the fact that the minute she found out her kids were mutants, she stepped up and she did everything she could to help and support them, he was praising her for that. I think that was a conversation. So we've known from them that Marcus's family didn't act very well, and from the minute he found out that Lorna was pregnant, all he wanted to do was to get Lorna back out of prison and to be with her and to be with their baby. Their conversations about the baby, it was something that's so important to him, and I think he obviously would have had ideas in his head from a very young age of, if he ever had a kid, how he would act with that kid, how he would be there for them no matter what. No one would keep him away from his child. He was going to be the best dad ever. And then now things are taken out of his control. That chance has been taken away from him. That right, that I do believe is his right, is to be with his baby. He's not done anything to hurt the baby. He's not done anything to hurt Lorna. He didn't do anything wrong in the season finale. Lorna made a choice. He didn't agree with the choice. They sort of broke up even though they still love each other. But the baby, he deserves the baby in his life just as much as Lorna does. And I find that so heartbreaking to watch. And I don't know what they expect. Of course Marcos is going to be angry. I mean, they take him to see his baby and then they don't even let him properly say goodbye to the baby. They don't let him finish what he was saying to Lorna. I know they were worried that him being there would make Lorna think, oh, I'd rather just be happy families. And, you know, as much as when she said to him staying in the inner circle wouldn't work, they were worried. Lorna would think, oh, if I go back to the underground, or what's left of them, that would work because it worked before. But I think they don't need to worry. Lorna is very committed to the cause they're doing. That's what she believes is right, and I think she'd always lent that way, but now there's people showing her that here we're going to do it. I'd like to think Lorna wouldn't go as far as people like Reva Page, but we'll find out, I'm sure, in the future. And I have faith in Lorna that, you know, she's never going to make a decision I cannot relate to. So Marcos, oh god, I was actually quite scared that Reva was going to kill him. I think Andy definitely looked very surprised, or he was very much uncomfortable with the entire situation. In the beginning, he knew that it would be hard for him to see Marcos because Marcos was one of the people that he got to know. They were friends. Marcos is linked intrinsically to his family, his sister, his parents. He didn't want to face Marcos, and I don't think that was him being cowardly or weak or anything. He just knew that it would be hard, and I didn't like that Reva made him do it. Because he is 15, he's a kid. He shouldn't be your security, he shouldn't be there as your insurance policy, that Marcos isn't going to do anything crazy or trying to make Andy be all mean and stand up to Marcos. That wasn't naturally his instinct. I think Andy's natural instinct would have been a bit more like sympathetic towards Marcos. But Reva was stood there, she told him to do it. I mean, again, I'm not saying that Andy would have been like, oh, Marcos is here, I'm off with him back to my family. Of course not, he also does believe in the cause. But I think Reva is bringing out a side in Andy that isn't my favourite side in Andy. And I'm still very worried for him in the situation, and I would love it if he rejoined the family next season. This season! You can do it this season. But yeah, Marcos, coming back to him, it breaks my heart. Like, honestly, if I think about it too much, I would just sit here weeping and sobbing because it's so wrong in every level, but there is no way around it. You know, he is not going to get to go for weekly supervised visits with his baby because they're almost at war, these two sides. They're not, I mean, they've inner circle is more fussed with humans, but they don't get on. They have such different beliefs. And I truly believe Marcos would do everything he could to come round to their belief, because his most important thing to him is his family. And I don't believe that Lorna is happy, you know. I mean, she's very much made the decision that she believes is right and that she's going to stick with. I don't in any way think that Lorna is thinking, oh well, see you, Marcos, sucks to be you, you don't get the baby. Of course not. I think she will feel that. She knows how important family is to him, and I think it did hit her quite hard when he said he's not the kind of person, he doesn't want to be the kind of person that abandons his kid. And I think she hadn't realised he'd be thinking like that. And it breaks my heart that he is, because he is not abandoning his kid. His kid's been taken from him. Those are very, very different things. A father who won't do anything to be with his kid compared to a father that rejects his kid. Marcos is not a bad father. He would be a brilliant father, just like Lorna's going to be a brilliant mother. And I mean, if it had ended with Marcos taking Dawn, I would be feeling heartbroken for Lorna. There's no easy way out of the situation. It causes me a lot of stress and heartbreak. I think, to be honest, Marcos would at this point accept, you know, being locked in a room to see his baby, you know, never not being part of the inner circle, but just being with his baby. I think he would do anything for that kid. And oh, it's just wrong. It's just so wrong that he is not able to be with his baby, and it's through no fault of his own. It's just through a difference of opinions and a situation where conventional custody arrangements don't work. So yeah, I'm very upset about that. And I think, like I said, Lorna's not a horrible person. She does love Marcos, but she believes so strongly in what she's doing, and that she's doing it for her baby, that that's what she will be able to put first over any of her emotions. But I am interested to see where things are going to go from here, in a sense. I'm not saying that I don't really think Lorna is going to go back to being part of the underground. I'd like to think if Reva's plan was somehow to, like, murder thousands of innocent people, I think Lorna would be against that, so would Andy. But as we saw when she blew up the plane, some of the people on that plane weren't evil. They had just got a job working as a flight attendant, or, well, got a job working as a pilot. For not a great person, yeah, that's accepted, but I think they weren't all, but they were kind of acceptable casualties in her mind more. Whereas if Reva's plan is to go after people for no reason, I don't know. I think some of what she does can be quite evil, and I don't think she would think twice about murdering thousands of people if it got her goal. I'm very scared about what her revolution is going to be. I can understand her. I get her impulse. Her story, I think, is true. I'm not 100% sold on it because she's very manipulative. But, you know, the way she lost her friend to the purifiers, of course that's going to make you want to act out more, in the same way that losing his baby has made Marcos want to take action against the inner circle. But I think with Reva, she's taken it further than most people would in her willingness to just kill anybody at all if it's going to solve her problem. You know, now I think if she had a best friend and for the cause, she'd kill that best friend. I don't believe that she has anyone that she would not sacrifice, except maybe herself. But I enjoy Reva. Like, I don't like her at all, but I really enjoy watching her. Like, and my dislike of her isn't like, oh, she's a terrible character. She's a brilliant character, but she's a terrifying character. And the fact that Dawn means Aurora, and so Marcos was able to think of that was the name we picked. It isn't the name we picked because the name they picked was Aurora, but, you know, he kind of had a say, and he got to give her the rattle, and that's a little victory. I'm going to take that for this episode. Then we get the Strucker family. I can't say enough how much I love Lauren. In a lot of ways, I kind of relate to her with, I love her so much. She's such a strong person, and I think she honestly would do anything to make sure everyone else in her life is okay before she made sure she was okay. I'm so glad that they touched on the fact that she was a mutant for, I think it was 3-ish years. And so she was 17 in season 1, so from the age of 14 she found out she got her powers, and she never told her family, and she had to listen to her dad talk about prosecuting mutants. Andy just ignorantly, not being horrible, but ignorantly calling them muties and being, you know, kind of like anti-mutant just because that's what everyone's called it. It's cool. To see things like in the bowling alley, mutants being mistreated, and thinking, oh, my dad's going to go, he's going to help them, and he just tells them to leave. I'm still in this season, they haven't forgotten that is something that really shaped the beginning of Lauren's mutant experience, that has really shaped Lauren's life, was those years where she kept it to herself. And of course she's going to be thinking things like, if I told everyone I was a mutant, they might have been more aware that Andy could be a mutant, and maybe things would have happened differently in the beginning with what happened. But again, I don't think it's her fault at all. Keeping it a secret, I completely understand. Becoming a mutant especially in a family that aren't mutants, is terrifying. And I mean, look at people like Marcos. I'm sure he would have been quite happy in his family. I know he doesn't, from what he said and the way he talked to his father, the way he tried to arrange, he didn't have an abusive, miserable life as a kid. He wasn't miserable, but he got his powers and he was kicked out because he wouldn't hide them. So I think I could see why Lauren, as much as her family love her and her parents love her, her dad's job, as he says, "I'll help keep you safe from all those scary big mutants," would be, I get why she wouldn't tell anyone, and I can't imagine what that must have been like. And then for Reed to fully realise just how much she didn't tell him, just how much she kept inside and suffered on her own. It's not just now that he's kind of failed Lauren as a parent, it was then. I mean, he had no way of knowing she was a mutant. I don't think there was much he could have done other than just have a household where the concept of being a mutant wasn't so terrible that you'd keep it to yourself even when you start disintegrating filing cabinets and cars. I'm sure if when he disintegrated that car, he could have convinced Lauren it was something else. He'd have gone with that because he didn't want to tell anyone. But I love Lauren so much, and she breaks my heart, and she's such a strong character that I just can't wait to see everything she does this season. But yeah, that was really heartbreaking. And again, the fact that she felt bad that she told her dad how she was feeling because it had made him upset. Oh, as a character, she is 100% my favourite. Sorry, you might get a lot of pro-Lauren rambles in my reactions, but I loved her last season, and this season, every episode, I'm just like, oh, I just want her to be happy and safe, and I love her. And then Reed, I think for him, this last couple of episodes has been a real wake-up call that he hasn't always been there for Lauren like he thought he had. I think Reed's not a bad father, I would never say that. I think he's a human, he makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, no one is perfect, so I'm not saying that Reed's a terrible person, but I think he would have, like I said, I think my last reaction, he probably would have said that he'd been a really good dad, he'd always been there for his kids, they could come to him about anything, and then he's finding out that now, not only had Lauren not told him how she's feeling now, but she'd kept that huge secret, and keeping that secret, it wasn't a case of her powers manifested and she just played around with them sometimes. It was traumatic in a lot of different ways, and she didn't feel that she could come to him, and that must kill him. I think that must be so heartbreaking. And then she definitely, of course, was not upset he was a mutant, but she was upset that he found out he was a mutant and he felt he couldn't tell anybody, because I think there is a part of him that just doesn't want to be a mutant. It's not that he's not sure of his powers, if he can control them. I'll be interested to see them explore this more. It definitely comes across with Reed a little bit like he doesn't want to be a mutant. He's still got that thing in his head of he can accept his kids being mutants, he can support them and being happy with it and okay with it, but he doesn't want to be a mutant himself. And even if that's not the full story of why he didn't tell anyone, I could definitely see that being how Lauren interpreted it, because it's kind of how I've interpreted it. And, you know, she is a mutant, she learned to control her powers by herself. Okay, her powers aren't destructive, her powers are protective, they are, in that sense, I mean, they're not destructive, she blew out windows, so, you know, they can be destructive if she uses them in a certain way. I guess if in self-defense, she can definitely use those powers for destruction, and I love her. But back to Reed, because that is what I'm talking about. It's just I'm very intrigued to delve more into his psyche of why he didn't tell anyone. I mean, I could see it being a bit of he doesn't want to burden anybody because Caitlin's stressing out about Andy. He's also worried about Andy, but she was very much worried about Andy. Lauren's his kid. He's not going to go to his kid and say, oh, I need some help, even though I think Lauren would have been the perfect person to go to because she has done the whole becoming a mutant thing. It would both be quite scary for him because his powers are so destructive. And we've yet to see whether if he touched a person and they activated, whether that would hurt the person or if it's just like material. But I'm so glad. I wish he told her, I think, but I thought maybe in the last episode when she told him how she was feeling that was going to trigger his powers with her in the room, but it did it after she left. But this episode, he just should have pulled over the car the minute he started getting angry. He knows what happens with his powers. I think that was probably the worst possible way he could have told someone or had them find out. And I'm really glad he listened to Lauren. He listened to what she said about how she wishes she'd been more open about it. Although, again, she should not blame herself. But how she wishes she'd been more open about it. How, as a family, they're not meant to have secrets, but secrets are what are tearing them apart. And he went and he told Caitlin. And again, Caitlin was kind of upset because why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you think you could tell me? But she was just supportive and she was there for him. And I think that's what he needed. That's what Caitlin needed. I think it's going to help them coming to a point. I was glad she apologised at the beginning of the episode because she did start that whole fight. And then for Lauren, I think it was good for her. She got to see that her parents could talk about this, could reunite, and I think there are a lot of things going on in her head, a lot of memories and mixed up emotions, and but yeah, the Struckers, I'm finding their family back. I love what they're doing in their family this season. I mean, I don't, because it's messed up and it's sad and it's heartbreaking in a lot of ways, but they're so interesting. Like I said, when I say my favourite characters are Lauren, then kind of second is a joint one with Clarice, Marcos and John. They take turns being next, and then Lorna. I love Caitlin and Reed as characters. They're so fascinating to watch. Even Andy, he's really fascinating to watch. I enjoy them as characters, but they're just not my favourites, if that makes sense. Then we had John and Clarice, and at the beginning of the episode, she was like, I know something is wrong with you, talk to me. And John was like, no, everything's fine. And I think it was good that she didn't let it lie, because she kind of, since last episode, had been sensing something was up. She kept on at him about it, but not in like a kind of really irritating way, just in a wanting to be there for him. And then they found the Morlocks, and I thought, what did Clarice agree to do? Because she asked if he wanted him to be her spy. But was he asking her to spy on John, on the Struckers, on every single mutant up on the Grat Top? Or did he just want her to feed him information about more general things to do with the world? And why couldn't she tell John about it? Because I don't like that she didn't tell John about it, because I feel like that's going to be the thing they're going to throw at them to make them look like a happy, perfect couple in the episodes to come, because writers can't leave couples alone. I think they can get through whatever it is. I don't think it's going to be the end of their relationship. But what was it? Because the fact that she couldn't tell John makes me feel like it wasn't just keep him apprised of wider world things or on the inner circle if she got any more information, that it was more to do spying on our mutants as well. But she knows that our mutants aren't going to do anything terrible, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it. But at the end, John finally told her what he'd been keeping inside, and I don't think it's the whole story in a way, because he didn't quite let on the full extent of how he does feel like he failed in Atlanta, like it was all his fault, even though it wasn't all his fault. But he kind of said it enough that I think she heard it. She took it in. She is aware of how he's feeling, and that's really important. And I don't know. I know what he means. If they came up against Andy and Lorna in a fight to the death, or, you know, if Lorna was about to take down a passenger plane full of innocent people, I don't know that she would do that, but if that's what she was going to do, if Andy was going to blow something up, could they use deadly force to stop them? I don't know. I think that would be the worst situation to be in, and I really hope the show's not going to go there. Even I think Andy and Lorna would also struggle with hurting their friends. I'm not saying it's just the people that stayed with the underground side that would have trouble with that. So I think that's why I was begging. I thought, when I was worried that Reva was going to kill Marcos, I was begging Andy to use his powers to like knock him out or something even less painful he could have done. I don't know, because his powers rip things apart. I don't know. But yeah, that was intense, and I think that was just a small taste of the awful, terrible, heartbreaking things we've got to come. These characters. And then at the end, Marcos's statement of he wants to take the fight to them, he wants to strike back, because they have stolen his baby and basically been like, you can't even spend time with the baby, you can't have arranged visits, you can't have any relationship with this baby. And oh, I feel so bad for him. I'm very scared. I'm so excited where the show's going to go next. Like I said, it's my favourite show airing at the moment. It's one of my favourite shows just in general. But I'm also terrified. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.